team will. This is the tournament, this is the bracket of Cinderella stories, and unfortunately, 7 rounds of heartbreak. I am very curious to see Wildcard end up on the exact same order in the exact same 3 maps that they just played against Dark Zero. Now, that was with Polo in the playoffs, but same maps, looking for a different result.
It's interesting, as you pointed out, and if those of you who are joining us now did not get a chance to catch that best of 3, a best of 3, by the way, that decided who would be the final North American team getting a free ticket to the major and did not have to fight in the last chance qualifier. That was a tight 3-map series, 7-8, a close loss for Wildcard on Bank. They took the win on Oregon 7-5, only to lose and get denied their major hopes, at least for a moment, on Cafe. So here they are against Beastcoast to keep their hopes alive, because Dark Zero, when they took that win, they booked their ticket to the major, and Wildcard have to fight it out here. But on Oregon, we get into our operator bans, and we'll get a pretty clear picture of what kind of Oregon we've got on our hands in just a moment. You see the Ying ban. That is probably the most typical ban on a map like this you could expect. Buck, on the other hand, is maybe a little bit more out of the norm.
Yeah, I mean, the entire basement downstairs, Buck is going to help you making rotations through kitchen to meeting. It's going to alleviate some pressure and give you some better rotations topside, but there's no actual soft floor to breach with the Buck downstairs, so that's one bomb site where Buck just kind of gets negated entirely. We're jumping in with the Azami being the last band taken off the board in tandem with the Valkyrie, so we lose some information, we lose some key barriers, but I'll be honest, these operator bans straying a little away from the convention, and for Wildcard on the defensive here, I'd say they're probably in a pretty good spot still.
And looking to set themselves up for success by kicking this map off well. As we all know, you come out swinging, you really make your presence known in this lobby. Always so difficult for the other team, right, to match that energy, to build that confidence back over the course of a map. But that's exactly where we will begin, as you foretold, Flynn. We go down to the basement, where Wildcard will start things out on the defense. Already undergoing their site setup here, we see that with this defensive lineup, we're likely going to see a little, but probably not a ton of top floor presence. Merc using these mirror windows down below to fortify the site here, at least for now, rather than extending dramatically to that first floor up above.
Well, and again, we're getting a little fancy here. We had a Thorn coming out, and I imagine many people would have imagined that it would have been the Uzi with a 1.5, but no, it's an M870, and I'm praying the CZ75 is the secondary on Thorn with a deployable shield for Spirits as loadout. Now, he was making some rotations over by Showers to start things off, as Beastcoast will begin their insurgence into the building over towards Big Tower. They get some T3 control off rip. They're in a good position to get a move on. I was very worried about that M870 being out on the roam and potentially quelling an entry into the west side of the building, but no such luck, as Spirits will be at the bottom of white, fulfilling what we usually see as a smoke in this position with an M590. The pump shotgun all the same, and this season pump shotguns are reigning supreme.
Oh yeah, those close quarters duels, I mean, so difficult, especially as an attacker. You're walking around a corner and then there's a shotgun in your face. A daunting task to overcome, to say the least. But Mr. B, he's looking to get active a little early, maybe. I mean, you've got some support from Hat on the tower stairs that might just allow Mr. B to creep on in to bunker. However, with Hat now denied a well-placed nitro cell from Surf, Mr. B is going to have a bit more challenge working that way in than maybe he would like. Some pressure up above building, though, for Beastcoast. Pretty good progress, considering there are still 90 seconds left on the clock for them to get the job done here.
Here's the last EOD from Doc on the line as well, but the push up the tower stairs, Spirits again. There's that M870, point blank range on the tower stairs, and is able to retreat. Doc will get one back, though, on his descent down the freezer stairs, but Fett with the Fuser will control where this push ends up for a post or for a planting execute. Mr. B still trying to work his way inside of blue. The 3v4 to work out of onto one of the most impossibly to attack defensive bomb sites. That's trying to work his way towards the bottom of main stairs, and there was the last twitch drone as well for Mr. B. So East Coast now trying to find an entry point. Doc will be rejected on entry as there goes Adam, cutting him down, getting into the fray. So everyone for Wildcard jumping into the mix as Mr. B makes his entry in through blue. Elbow still opened up, so he's got Purview onto the bomb site. A reaction onto Packer as he goes sprinting headlong into the rotation. Mr. B still walking things down, and Fett trying to work his way each on a 1v1, but Adam wins it out. Now it's just Fett alone, the coach subbing in a 1v3. He does have the diffuser control, but time ticking away against him. Turning the corner with the bearing, he'll get caught up in a crossfire. A Surf will dispatch of Fett, and that's Wildcard taking the first round.
Perfect example of why it is just so difficult to successfully attack that basement site, because once you lose a single player, and that's what happened there for Beastcoast. It was Surf with the opening kill onto Hat. Once you lose one body, the problems that you often have on that site just compound with one another, and they can get you into serious trouble. Without Hat on the tower stairs, Mr. B did, in fact, have a much harder time working his way in bunker. That then delayed the presence up above, and we had to see Beastcoast go for a pretty complete rotation to the other side of the site, ignoring the pillars and bunker and tower approach in favor of the freezer and laundry take. A risky adjustment to make so late in the round, and something so hard to do if you're down in the man count like that.
So Wildcard feeling pretty good, picking up a win on the basement to start things out, and they'll head topside. So no crazy site rotations, although it does look like Merc on the Fenrir is entertaining the idea of playing down below inside of kitchen. We've seen this extension a few times this stage. A lot of extensions down here, though, don't last very long. It's a lot of the defenders either bail out to the bottom floor to just waste some time and try and suck the roam clear in, or just head straight back upstairs. Spirits has got an opening into T3 as well. T2 rotated the attic, and the T3 floorboards opened up by this impact grenade. So it seems like Wildcard here, their number one focus on this defense is as much map control as possible, contain as much of the real estate of Oregon as you can for as long as you can. Doesn't look like Hat or anyone on Beastcoast, though, are entertaining and clear. That makes it to the top of Armory Stairs, doing battle with Spirits, and they'll walk away worse for wear from the both of them. Spirits down to about 40, Hat down to about 60. Is Adam now entertaining a flank through Zed? Trying to get the flank off here towards this main lobby push, as Beastcoast started out fast, but now they're kind of peeling back a little bit with some early resistance from Spirits.
Well, as we mentioned, Flynn, a nice pivot here from Wildcard on the defense. The basement site, they didn't try to take or maintain too much map control while they were down there. Now they're trying to maintain about as much as possible, and so far, it's working. Beastcoast, they tried to get a little active early, but now they've finally been slowed down. Now Hat will get on the board first, and maybe that will open things up a little bit for Beastcoast now, taking care of Packer and removing the threat of the mutant, any threat that he may pose in the late round. Beastcoast, as they try to seize this opportunity, though, well, they're going to have a little bit of mixed result. They'll end up getting one onto Merc and dropping Spirits, but Mr. B is taken care of, and oh, here comes Adam on the run out to shut down Doc as well. A 2v2 if Spiff can get the finisher. The nade just misses, though. So this one, it might get a little more challenging than Beastcoast would have liked.
Yeah, it was a technical 2v4 there for Wildcard to work out of, but Adam goes huge downstairs, picking up the entry into the showers hallway and the jump out of bottom white window. So now two defenders on about 20 HP, Spirits and Surf, now have the man advantage, and Fett's on even lower health than those two injured members of Wildcard, trying to work his way into the closet breach. With the fuser in tow as well, the AK-12 will ring, but it will not connect on a target. Spiff now trying to make an entry in through the trophy door, walks straight into attic, no one holding. This could be the perfect angle here. Spiff gets one onto Spirits, but Fett gets dropped to the floor. It's now a 1v2 to work out of here with the L85 in hand. Still taking aim towards the big window, wary of where the second defender has fallen off too. Looks like they're both stacking on either side of that kid separation wall towards big window. Adam now taking the swing, will clean up what was potentially revived there in Fett. Now Spiff again finds himself alone against the team of Wildcard, and he will fall. So it's a quick 2-0 lead here for Wildcard on the defense.
Well, in the mid-round there, we talked about making an adaptation from round 1 to round 2. Let's talk about the adjustment that Wildcard made in that round. Within about 60 seconds, they found themselves in trouble, frankly. Beastcoast not only had the opening kill, but then they quickly rattled off one more, got it down, and were looking pretty solid going into the final bit there. The big change, it's what you see right now. Adam going for the run out, not only getting that kill in the shower corridor, but seizing the opportunity, knowing that the player on the coverage was gone, going for the run out and taking care of that clay pigeon kill on the rappel. It's a risky move. It's one that often gets you in trouble, especially if there's a claymore on the ground, but it's one that Adam felt that he had to make considering the situation that Wildcard were in. And a good decision at that. It brought Wildcard back in the round. Spirits was then recovered, was not killed by the nade. Maybe lucky, maybe skilled, but just perfectly timed either way to get Wildcard back in the fight and eventually through to their second round win.
Like you said, it was a good start to the round for Beastcoast on the attack. Just going for an immediate entry up the armory stairs, noticing that the only portion of the map really that wasn't occupied by a Wildcard defender was lobby. And getting to an early engagement with Spirits through the armory window all the way to the 2 window and kind of slows things down a bit, but still, those entries in towards the bomb site, disregarding the roam, didn't really bite them until the very end when Adam started to get active and utilize that freedom that he had, knowing that there wasn't much of the map controlled by anyone on Beastcoast. He had the ability to rotate and jump wherever he well pleased, and made good use of that. So Beastcoast in a hole early, but it is attacking Oregon. This may be their map pick, but everyone knows that attacking onto Oregon is not the simplest of tasks. They might have an easier challenge here, trying to attack onto the tertiary bomb site of Kitchen and Meeting. The Packer to try and quell the ace of Selma's, but the mute will get EMP'd, and wall will open right on up for the attack. So a good start there, and especially good start here for Hat as he worked his way into Zed and is able to claim the life of Surf for the opening pick yet again.
Yeah, this time Hat takes care of Surf, unlike round 1 where it was the other way around. So far, 3 rounds, and Hat has been involved in the opening duel all 3 times. So clearly getting active, and as our analyst S pointed out, maybe trying to put up some of those stage 1 numbers again. You see him pushed all the way up in the kitchen right now. In a lot of trouble. There are shotgun blasts coming up above him. And he doesn't have a lot of support. Beastcoast are using this time to now actually get up into position. You see Doc creeping in from behind. Merc should have some idea of this, but is not going to deny it just yet. Mr. B tacks on for another. Hat goes for 2, and that's a double for him. Spirits and Merc are all that remain of this crumbling defense, and they're gonna have to pull up a big one here. Spirits taking care of Mr. B is something, but now he's got to work his way back into the hallway that, well, Hat was watching, but now Hat is done for. Everyone on Beastcoast, though, now turned defenders, can sit back and wait for Wildcard to push into them instead. Unlikely that this position could really work out. Nice smoke grenade. Fett's been forced off that position and down. Doc has now got to be very careful. A clutch kill onto Spirits. And Merc now isolated, only 15 seconds to work with here. It's going to look the wrong way, eventually picks it up, but really doesn't have enough time to make this work. Maybe he can try to bait the swing here from Doc, but yeah, no, he is simply out of time. A good effort from both Merc and, well, the rest of Wildcard on that retake, but it was not in the cards. Beastcoast take their first round.
Man, dangerous post plant there for Beastcoast. Merc and Spirits really just kind of picking that one off, picking that one apart one by one. That was really impressive for them on the attempt to get a clean sweep of defensive objectives, but unfortunately it falls just short. Merc just running out of clock to work with. You got to think there with the run he was on, if he had, 10, 15 more seconds, he might have actually been able to pull that one off. But that's the challenging part of a post-plant retake for the defense, is that 45-second clock starts, and you have to complete all of your tasks within that time to be able to defuse for 7 seconds as well. So narrow margins there for Merc and Spirits. They tried their hardest, but Beastcoast, again, starting a round off strong. It gets a little shaky later on in the round, but Beastcoast able to persevere and hold on to it and pick up their first round of the map and of the series. Like I said, it's the tertiary bomb site. If you're Wildcard, this is the site you expect to lose of any of them. You don't want to lose any rounds, but you're perfectly comfortable losing this one if it means that you can go back to the previous 2 bomb sites you have defended successfully and walk away with a 4-1, potentially a 5-1 at the half, maybe a 4-2 if things repeat themselves on this bomb site. I think right now for Wildcard, showing some good fight back and showing some good poise in back-to-back rounds where things kind of went off the rails for them. They had to steady the ship in a moment of quite intricate chaos, and they were able to do so quite well. So I'm very impressed to see how Wildcard is handling with these circumstances, and I think for Beastcoast here, they're trying to change up the tempo.
Yeah, you see Mr. B on the Monty trying to do exactly that. He's already got this bunker door open, and instead of pressuring here is the Twitch. Well, he's switched GIGN operators, and now he's gonna maybe be that brick wall. Oh boy, I was gonna say that Beastcoast needed Merc with a C4 perfectly reading hat on the sledge. He was maybe trying to open up that iconic angle down into those laundry stairs. Hat has now been shut down. And Wildcard get to claim the opening pick for their own. This could be trouble for Beastcoast, because as we talked about last time and we witnessed firsthand, when they lost that first player, things started to slow down. Things started to get a bit more chaotic for them. So they're really going to have to rely on Mr. B here and the utility that the Monty brings to the table.
Yeah, the analyst has touched on the Montaigne being brought as kind of a comfort pick to be able to get your attacks back on schedule, and it seems like that is the intention here for Beastcoast, but not the result that's coming. Mr. B able to push his way down, Freezer to push off that M870 of Spirits, and Nitrocell get ripped. He will not get thrown, though, as of yet. I see Mr. B looking for it frantically, but I imagine Surf put it back in the pocket. And he did, so rotating back in towards supply. It seems like an entire Freezer push coming out for Beastcoast now on the attack. Magnet still providing a hurdle to overcome, though, as the soft wall will get opened up large enough for Mr. B to be able to walk through, but that might not be opened up enough in the bottom where he can just stroll over it. That might instigate a vaulting prompt, which is, that would be the end of the world on this push here. That'll lock you into an animation that'll be very difficult to fight back, and now doing some damage to Mr. B as well. As Doc pre-firing, looking to get a lucky shot, and Mr. B's pushed his way all the way down to the bottom of the Freezer hallway. This is a tough spot to be in for Beastcoast, just trying to funnel their way into the bomb site. Lots of utility to work their way through.
Good nade, that'll help. Mr. B now really at the helm of this attack. Hitting Merc in this corner potentially could be it, but no, it's Adam from behind who takes care of both Spiff and Mr. B. This attack falls apart, and Spirits, that's the nail in the coffin right there. He ends it with a double. But once Mr. B got shot in the back of the head, I mean, that was all she wrote for that attack. There was no question about that.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch if Mr. B was eventually able to push through the soft wall from Freezer, or if he did end up just walking down the main hallway from the Freezer door, but it just seemed like that was another stumbling point for Beastcoast, where everyone was trying to funnel their way in through the Freezer hall, and there just wasn't a whole lot of resistance. It was a good frag rate from the bottom of Laundry Stairs, but there really wasn't like a back flank coming from Blue or from Meeting Hatch or anything to cause the defenders to turn and cause the defenders to change their focus as everyone remaining for Beastcoast started pushing their way through. And I wonder if that was going to be Hat's eventual role on that push, was to be the flank, to be, you know, the person that should have been coming in behind and collecting free kills, as the entirety of the attention from Wildcard was placed upon Freezer. So again, that opening pick from Merc sets up big things in the round, and for Beastcoast just unable to adapt to the situation they found themselves in. Mr. B gonna get off the Lion, and instead of bringing out the Montaigne, for now he's angling towards bringing a Blitz. So again, we're seeing a shield operator trying to get some attacking rounds back on schedule, and for Beastcoast there, bit of a misstep, but you still have some opportunities to at least level out the half and a 3-3 here. Not all hope is lost, and I think for Wildcard, these defenses now look really strong, they've looked really poised, they've looked really controlled, and now Mark is going to try and set the tone early again. The jump out of Classroom will not be successful. Nonetheless, it'll just, again, give Beastcoast a moment of pause, try and make sure that they're not entering into the building too quickly without checking their corners.
Well, you talked about setting the tone. Let's keep an eye on Mr. B once again, because he's pulling out the Blitz. That is not a joke. We saw him pull out the Monty in the last round. Didn't work too well. He's going to upgrade, go for the shield that flashes people instead of the one that puts your gun away and makes you just walk at people with a brick wall. Now, this could work if timed well, but it's also extremely risky, especially if your team is walking in one by one. Mr. B, he is, well, speaking of pushing in one by one, all alone, and now both he and Spiff get completely shut down. Doc is gone too, and disaster strikes for Beastcoast once more.
Well, Merc seemingly playing very well in his return. Again, his very unfortunate circumstances that kept him from playing against Dark Zero in the playoffs. We wish him all the best, but Now that he's back, he is certainly on fine form today against Beastcoast, and they're going to need that. We saw that in the game against Dark Zero, where it was a difficult circumstance for Wildcard, and the rest of the team, and including Bola, who subbed in for him, played admirably. It just wasn't enough to get over the hurdle at the very end, Cafe falling just a bit short to Dark Zero. And I think for this game here, this is a game where Beastcoast are out of ideas on the attack. Playing with a coach is never fun. Like I just talked about with Wildcard, their substitute situation. It wasn't the ideal situation to be in for peak performance. And I imagine Beastcoast, while Fett has performed individually as well as what Reverse and maybe a little shy of what Tristan was able to do in his game, the unfortunate part is it's not the same as when you have your full five who you've been practicing with all off season and heading into the stage. So it's still a difficult spot to be in for Beastcoast. Their attacks not seeming to have enough depth to them, not seeming to have an answer to what Wildcard is bringing, and unfortunately they're resorting to just sending it towards the site with a shield up front, and it's not gone well for back-to-back rounds. Like I said, though, those are the two bomb sites on defense you expect to win. This is the bomb site where Beastcoast does have their one-round victory so far attacking, so they'll look to replicate that same success for round number 3 to at least give them some momentum heading into the defensive side.
Yeah, with Oregon, all bets are off when, even if you're down, when you switch over to the defensive side, as you said, that's where you make up the ground. And that's where this match could really become a close one. But for now, it's all wild card. As you pointed out, Merc making that very clear at 8-3 right now. Adam 7-1. Insane statistics right now from this wild card side. Beastcoast yet to match that. Fett yet to find a single kill. Maybe Hat can start off this round with another opener. He's found 2 so far. He's been on the receiving end of 3 of those opening duels, involved in all 5 so far. Yes, you heard me right. Every single round, he's either done the killing or been killed first. Looking to do the exact same thing as he is already top white, looking to get a nice little cut-off angle in the middle of this objective, preventing Wildcard from rotating freely, but a deployable shield protecting, and Merc, ooh, keeping a watchful eye on it. Hat will get the better of him this time.
So the opener there for Hat takes a little while to get there. He'll reascend the white stairs only to meet his demise very early in the round as well. So Spirits trades him out. Adam jumps into the fray, grabbing Mr. B. So there goes the Grim, another new operator for Mr. B to be taken. Doc now will try and reclaim white stairs for Beastcoast, as the rest of this push from Fett and Spiff try to work their way in towards Kitchen. It's more down the freezer hallway and through Zed right now than anything. Is, again, this Beastcoast attack just floundering, not really having the direction it needs. Doc, though, will catch a rotation from Packer as he tries sprinting his way through Zed, and I get back in towards the bomb site. And Adam, though, with topside control, to jump into the big window coming out from the line of Spiff, holding in towards Kid's bedroom, but there goes the push, not knowing the position of Adam. The 416 will cut through its victim, and there goes Spirits as well, jumping in from Kids, and it's a 5-1 half Wildcard. Able to correct their mistakes from the last time of defending this bomb site, able to stop the aggression from Beastcoast, and they look in fine control right now on Beastcoast map pick.
I also will mention that despite the success that Beastcoast had on that site last time, they chose to change up their approach. They did not go for immediately Selma's on the split wall, immediately establishing that pressure and forcing Wildcard back. Instead, they opted for the full clear. They opted to approach from that top side and put some pressure on those white stairs. You saw it there. The great shot that Hat was able to hit on to Merc was a good starting point in the round, but it wasn't enough to set themselves up for success. They could not get those next few kills, deal with that top floor extension, and get back on their feet. So yeah, 1-5, a 4-round deficit is what they're gonna have to overcome now on the defensive half. Yes, it is their map pick. Yes, of the 2 maps that they won in the regular season play this stage, Oregon was one of them. But yes, Wildcard do look like the more dominant team right now. There's no question about that.
I think for Beastcoast here, you have an opportunity as long as you're paying close attention. And it looks like Fett is kind of reading my mind here, as the Toxic Babe will lay at rest at the foot of the double bunker door. And I was very worried about Wildcard maybe wanting to send a message and maybe close this thing out as fast as humanly possible. And it doesn't look like Wildcard are entertaining that idea. They will take this a little more methodically, a little more measured, and try and close this one out with some composure and some poise. Beastcoast, now's the time to take some chances. And you can see that with the roam coming out from Beastcoast, spreading across the map. Everyone's kind of in a 1v1 position. No one's helping each other, but really, this is one of those rounds where it's just swing for the fences and see what you can get. Mr. B constantly contemplating running out this front door, but Packer well aware of the position and well aware of Beastcoast's ideology on the round as he's going to head topside. Mr. B just trying to waste some time. Hawk taking aim as well, but Mark makes it to the top of White Stairs and just misses the backside of Mr. B. The re-engagement and a beautiful shot there from Mr. B. So Mark will be the first one to fall inside of Wildcard, and this roam might actually have some teeth after all.
And Mr. B looking absolutely unfazed by that. Just chooses to take the fight and he wins it like the madman he is. But he's going to have to worry about several different angles, and he doesn't have anybody to support him other than, well, his own ability and maybe that voice in his head telling him, you can do this. You can take care of all these attackers by yourself on the top floor. He can't do that, lo and behold. So it will return to a 4v4 as Wildcard begin to turn their attention to the actual basement site rather than simply the clear. I will say Mr. B did his job rather well. He did delay a fair bit of time off the clock, and that really was the goal. He was planning to live and die on that top floor. So Wildcard do need to be wary of the clock and of the pace that they're maintaining for the second half of this round.
The good news is with Mr. B's successful roam there, being able to acquire the opening pick and acquire some of that range soft breach on Merc's Ash as well. Got the Goyo canisters, the Vulcan canisters, and the Toxic Babes as well from Fett. There's a lot of time waste and a lot of area denial, and Spiff will win the first one with the Vector, sprinting his way into blue now. Packer will fall. Adam gets one right on back. The last two remaining attackers have at least leveled up man count momentarily as Spiff is on the floor bleeding out. Maybe recoverable in this mess, but no, he's being red pinged outside of the barrel door. That will bring things to level footing now in a 2v2, and Adam trying to work his way out of this and towards blue with the diffuser in hand. Surf to join. I don't know if we have any Bs left remaining on Surf, but no more EMPs remaining on Adam at the moment. Be a tough spot to work out of, but they do have the location of Fett playing around inside the closet and the member of Hat playing inside of Elbow. There goes the plant attempt coming out, but Surf, oh, what a shot there from Surf, and Adam pulls off the plant to grab Fett. Fett still killless in this engagement, and unfortunately, we stand on match point for Beastcoast as they were almost able to salvage that one there in the midst of a planting attempt, but Wildcard proved dominant.
That was just great coverage from Surf. I mean, you got to give it up to him there, and then Adam using that opportunity to hop off the diffuser and just get the kill himself. Really well executed from Wildcard in a 2v2 situation like that. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination. A 2v2 with 15 seconds, all the pressure in the world is on your shoulders there for a moment, and you need to somehow try to get that diffuser down while also worrying about two defenders. And guess what? If one of your attackers is planning that diffuser, they are typing away at a keyboard and staring directly at the floor. They're not a gun up. They can't help you. It becomes a 1v2 very quickly. But it was well done for Surf to get the first kill, turning that into a 2v1 where Wildcard were able to seek the frag. Match point for them, as you said, Flynn, as they look to put away Oregon rather quickly. 1 round away from shutting down Beastcoast on their own map.
5 seconds to insertion.
I think that's the takeaway from this again is, you know, Fett had a very fun performance his last time around subbing in on the team, but this time around he just has not found a way to have the same kind of impact. Again, on supporting role, he's not supposed to be out there fragging out of his mind, but being on the board at least is the minimum expectation for any player in any one of these games. And I think for Fett here, he's just not having the same kind of success. And for Beastcoast as a whole, this is not their optimal lineup. This is not the optimal situation to be in. This is very much a game of, you know, maybe there's a chance. But Wildcard right now, they were so close to making the major without having to go through this LCQ. And Lax talked about not wanting to play the LCQ if you're any one of these teams. I think Wildcard, knowing they were close, but some very unfortunate circumstances, took their optimal lineup off the board as well for that game against Dark Zero. I think this is about revenge here for Wildcard, just getting back into a position they believe they deserve. And I think for Beastcoast here, it's just about trying to survive as long as possible. Merc will make that extremely difficult. He vaults in through the satellite window and will claim Hat. So again, one of those big entry fraggers. And One of those big superstar performers for Beastcoast in stage 1, and still in stage 2, honestly, taken off the board in exchange for Merc's life.
I like that decision from Merc, trying to get active and disrupt something. He knew he was alone, knew that he didn't have the support, just committed to the solo play and executed it well. Now, of course, this does turn into a 4v4, so Wildcard are going to have to be a bit more cautious with where they make their move. But Spiff, down by Spirits on that angle from the window. That'll work to freeing up Wildcard just a bit here. Doc trying to hold off this push from one side, but keep in mind this push is coming from multiple directions now. Spirits has worked his way up the white stairs and is looking to pounce. Packer's been finished off, so Spirits knows he's got to make a move, and there it is. Around the corner 1, around the corner 2, and now he's looking in attic for more. Back turned, but eventually there goes Doc. He'll spin around and get the triple. This is a 2v2, but a full minute. Wildcard could regroup, or they could just take the fights. Surf will shut down Mr. B, who was sprinting at him, and now Doc is all alone. His position telegraphed, the site pretty much given up. There's someone in kids circling around into attic now, and Doc is very, very vulnerable here. Wildcard are taking this moment to regroup. They're not going to force the issue, but Doc, so cautious, not careful enough, as Adam will solidify the kill, and Wildcard, oh my, 7-1 dominance on Oregon.
Absolutely. And I think for Beastcoast here, losing your map pick, it's kind of just forget it and move on. That's what we're going to do as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to head to a quick break, and on the other side, the desk will break down, which was a very short Oregon.